It looks like it's going. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Understanding and Navigating the Y Network panel. We're really excited. We got some pretty awesome speakers today, and we're going to be able to really help everyone understand and figure out how to access some of the resources that are available to you as a Y staff person. So we do have a little bit of a slideshow that will kind of be playing as our panelists are talking. So before we get started, I'm Scott Farney. I serve as the Chief of Staff for the Florida State Alliance of YMCAs. Today we have an amazing group of panelists, and I'm going to give them a call on them and give them a little bit of time to introduce themselves, why they're from, and then what the network that they're choosing or that they're representing. And then we'll dive in a little bit into each of these networks. So let's start off with Jamie.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jamie Rusnak. I am the Chief Advancement Officer for Manatee County Family YMCA, and I will be representing the YPN network.
Thanks, Jamie. Next up is Lisa.
Hey everyone, my name is Lisa Sinkowski. I'm the Vice President of Leadership Development and Human Resources at the Tampa Metropolitan Area YMCA. And I'll be talking today about leadership development and training.
Awesome, thanks Lisa. Next up, I'm gonna represent Link and some of the YUSA resources and for our knowledge management platform. And we'll move on to Tammy. Tammy, you got to unmute.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. I'm Tammy Miller. I am with the YMCA of Florida's First Coast, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Risk and Property. And today I'm going to be talking about the service delivery partners and regional hub.
Thanks so much, Tammy. And last but not least, Lynn Wilcox.
Hi, group. I am Lynn Wilcox, and I'm the President and CEO of the Florida State Alliance of YMCAs, and I'm here representing all 18 Ys, as well as we work intricately, we'll find out later in the slideshow, with all the groups that are here represented today. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Lynn. So before we jump into a little bit about the network, I think this inspiration for this talk was really coming from a lot of the questions the five of us were getting around, how do I know, how do I access, how do I find out all of the different things that the Y does and some of the resources that are available to my Y, but also me as a staff person. So really that's what this is to explore, get to know a little bit about each of the different networks and how they work together, but also why they were designed to kind of support one another, support you as an individual, but also your Y. So this is kind of a quick layout. It's a little bit busy, but we wanted to kind of give everyone an idea of what we're going to talk about today. So Jamie's going to talk a little bit, as you heard, about the YMCA Professional Network. We're going to spend a lot of time there because you're experiencing a conference that is put on by this volunteer network. Then we're going to talk a little about into leadership development and training. This is something that's ever changing and ever evolving. So Lisa's going to talk a little bit about that. I'll talk a little bit about Link and why we have a knowledge managed platform, how you can get to know it a little bit better. Then we'll turn it over again to Tammy to talk about the regional service hub, which is kind of an ever evolving system. And then what's to come in the service delivery partners. And then last but not least, we'll turn it over to Lynn to talk a little bit about the Florida State Alliance and how it supports your Y leadership, but also how it supports your YMCA. So just for some housekeeping, you have the chat function and the question and answer function. At any time, drop some questions in there. We have some canned questions, but also we're going to take a lot of questions from the audience because this is an important time for you to explore these various networks and what they do. So with that, we're going to dive in to the YMCA Professional Network. So I'm going to turn it over to Jamie to talk a little bit about what is this and how do people access it and what is YPN?
Thanks, Scott. So yeah, YPN. YPN is a professional development and peer-to-peer networking group. We have more than 30 chapters led by local Y staff. Not only is it leaders, these are our part-time staff. All staff are a part of YPN. YPN is great to advance your career, improve your skills, and some benefits. Let's just kind of talk about that for a little bit. Some benefits that you can gain from YPN, as you can see on your screen: building your network, having contacts across the state, across the whole Y chapters, to build your network, to develop as a leader, share your knowledge with peers, and just learn new skills. So it's a very, I apologize. So what is inside of YPN is our peer communities. So peer communities are built up of our leaders that leverage our collective assets. So if you can kind of see on your screen of a vision that we had with, peer communities. Currently right now, we sit with aquatics, financial development, health and wellness, finance, HR, risk management, marketing and communications, membership, out of school time, and sport and teens. So these groups are built up of leaders that will look at, developing, networking, communications, innovation, community projects, mentoring. So if you haven't been involved in a peer community, how do I get involved? There's lots of ways to get involved, so I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Currently on your screen, there are a list of our peer chairs that are active right now. Thank you to all of your wonderful support and your leadership in these departments. We do have a few that we are currently looking for: finance, marketing and communications, and we need somebody to help out Tom in health and wellness. So if you are interested in a peer community, being a chair, you could throw something up in the chat for us today, or you could just kind of let us know what peer community you're involved in right now. As we've seen over the last year, some of us may have been involved in one, and now we need to be involved in another. So if you are involved in another and you don't know who to reach out to, throw us a chat today, and we'll be able to connect you with that right person. So I'm going to kind of just move on a little bit because I have a few other things I want to talk about before I turn it over to Lisa. Launching today for the first time are our employee resource groups, our ERGs. So if you were on the session beforehand, you've learned a little bit more about it. This is an amazing group that are all about our community. They're there to provide a space for people to learn at all levels, backgrounds, build your skills and network. So we're pretty excited about this because we're launching this for the first time this week. And then lastly, what else is a part of YPN is our EAF fund. And I do believe Scott has a little video on our employee assistant fund that he's going to play for us.
And for the last 40 years, I've enjoyed a career with the YMCA. Some of the most important things I've been able to do in my career have been able to provide financial assistance to the YPN EAF, the Employee Assistance Fund. This Employee Assistance Fund allows for the YPN to make grants to fellow YMCA colleagues who, by no fault of their own, have fallen into financial hardships. So I would encourage each one of you to make a gift to the YMCA's Professional Network's EAF, Employee Assistance Fund. You can make a difference, and I know that the impact is going to be felt by hundreds of fellow YMCA employees who need your support. Thank you for supporting EAF.
Hi everyone, my name is Delanix Cortez. and I am your YPN EAF Chair. 2020 has been a crazy year, but we remain hopeful. We believe in your ability to inspire others for a brighter tomorrow. We know better days are ahead of us, but we can only get there if we work together and support each other. As you heard Scott tell you earlier, we are raising money for our Employee Emergency Assistance Fund to help our fellow employees who have fallen on financial hardships. These funds are designed to help with essentials such as food and housing. Now more than ever, our fellow employees need our support just as much as our communities need our Ys. I invite you to join myself, Scott, and other Y colleagues in making a gift to the Emergency Assistance Fund. I hope you're enjoying the virtual conference, and thank you.
So you may be asking yourself, how do I get involved? If you are brand new and this is your first YPN conference, welcome. Thank you for attending. Getting involved in a peer community group, being on our board that's made up of all volunteers, our amazing conference committee that put this event on for you, a peer community group. There's several ways that you can be involved. Firstly, obviously, you can get to our Facebook page, Chapter 27 YPN. You could go there, let us know. There will be a short survey that you will get after the conference if you're interested in volunteering in a position with us. You also have the YPN at Florida, YMCA.org is also there for you. You can also find a little bit more about EAF on the page there as well. And creating your account on Link, which Scott's going to go over a little bit. I know Link is scary for a few people, myself included, until you use it. But joining, getting your account active with Link, selecting your communities that you're interested in your Link profile. And lastly, also your HR directors will be able to point you in that direction. There's also meetups on our platform this week. So if anybody is interested in becoming a board member, reach out to us, reach out to your peer community leader if you want to do a little bit more. And we look forward to seeing you all in the chat rooms, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thanks, Jamie. So next we're going to turn it over to Lisa.
Hey, everyone. So my name is Lisa Sinkowski, and I am with the Tampa YMCA. So previously, before COVID, a lot of the training throughout the state came out of the Tampa Association, working with our regional training manager. I will say that some things have changed, but our focus and dedication to make sure that people have development hasn't changed. So even though I don't have everything laid out, as Scott said in the beginning, it's a little ever changing. We want to talk about some things that are available to you right now. So for virtual YUSA offerings, just want to make sure we put some information out there, and I know that Scott does that through the Florida Alliance as well, that dimensions of diversity and cultural lenses are available virtually. We are also doing some select in person, doing that socially distant, really trying to be conscientious, but making sure that these really critical skills that we need to have, especially in this time, are available for people. Virtual training skills, now we have to think about how do we facilitate online. This conference is a great example of that, where sometimes I think we've gotten pretty good at doing Zoom, but just thinking about how do I take an activity and do that in a way that's meaningful for people online. Also, as most of you guys know, the lifeguard, all the aquatics courses have been changed to make sure that the interim guidelines are COVID conscientious and safety wise. So I think everybody is fully aware of this, but just to mention to you, we know at least until December 31st, all of the classes through YUSA that are not a paid class, an external vendor, are free. So really want you to take advantage of that. Of course, do get supervisor approval, but we want to make sure that people are taking advantage of them. And as soon as we hear if there is an extension, we'll let you know. Some more to come on that. So what do we need in the future? You know, that's one of the things that I've always been taught as a training professional. So we are going to be doing kind of a needs analysis to really think about throughout the state what we need, and asking CEOs and then asking HR, but also asking people that are in the field and really thinking about that. So we're working very closely with YMCA of the USA on what the future direction is, and you'll hear a little bit more to come. We're all waiting anxiously to find out about that as well. But this will really help us shape the future of what YUSA training is and leadership development here in our chapter in the state of Florida and in Puerto Rico. So really focusing on that area. The other thing that I've been doing a lot of to kind of keep things along, we just didn't realize we're going to have to rely on LCDC as much. So we already have one course that we've, just a webinar we put together of how do you navigate to create a local training event. That was one of them that some Ys had not done. And so definitely it's, available through the HR risk peer community. We released it through that. But if there's others that need it, you can definitely reach out to myself and I would share that link with you, which is just recorded on Zoom. And we're also going to be doing one that has to do with reports, because that's a big thing. Like, what do I need to get my certification? What's available out there? All those different types of things. So we want to make sure people have accessibility to that. But a lot more information to come as our new kind of regional hub, which you'll hear a little bit more about, will be coming out. So we're excited about some of the things that will be coming out in the near future. And definitely, I think virtual will be a component of that for the next few months at least. So thank you. And I will now turn it back over to Scott so he can talk a little bit about Link.
Thanks, Lisa. So Link is probably a platform that a lot of people might have heard about or might have logged in once. But it's really a robust system when it comes to knowledge management within the YUSA framework. So Link is two things. It is both social, so it's designed to connect with staff across the movement, across essentially anyone as a Y staff, as long as their local Y has given them an account, you can connect with them on Link. But the other thing that it does is it provides small communities. So as you can see over here on the left-hand side, pockets of communities of different networks. So our national employee resource groups have a page on Link. The YPN system has a page on Link. And then a lot of our areas of focus or our areas of interest, like aquatics, advocacy, marketing, membership, health and wellness, out of school time, you name it, all have a community on Link. So Link is really this robust system. Now, I laugh because Jamie had mentioned something before, and Link tends to be a little overwhelming, right, at first. It has a lot going on. You look at your notifications and they're constantly going off, and you look at something, you're like, whoa, that's 300 notifications. What do I do now? But all of it is customizable, right? So it is really a customizable system to say, hey, I am a chief development officer and I just really want to know the things around development, maybe some of the marketing things, like that's all I want to see. And it can do that. So in 2021, and we've run a bunch of them this year too, we're going to offer a lot of Link workshops and trainings and just getting on board, getting comfortable with it, but also customizing it to what you want to see. So where Jamie had mentioned, YPN at FloridaYMCAs.org, that's a perfect opportunity to say, hey, I'm really struggling with Link. Can I set up a little bit of time with you all? Or info at FloridaYMCAs.org. And can I just set up some time with you and walk through how to customize Link so it's just not so overwhelming? And we have that, and we'll be able to help you with that. But it's really this robust system of, anything that you can think of as far as templates, as far as sample messaging or sample communications, or if, say, you have an idea about a really cool program and you want to drop it in one of the communities and say, hey, can someone help me out I'm trying to think through this new program to engage teens. Or it might be as simple as, I have a huge teen population. How do I engage with them? So this is a really easy platform to just simply ask a question or find people in that field and chat with them. And it's available for anyone that is has a Y-Link account. And to gain access to it, that's something you want to talk to your HR department about. And a lot of them have a list of the staff that have been kind of approved to use it. And, it's a pretty easy fix depending on, what your needs are to help you out with that. So look out for, in 2021, we'll have some more like link introduction to get used to it, but also a little bit more in depth on like how to customize link. All right, next I'm going to turn it over to Tammy to talk a little bit about the service hub and then the service delivery part.
Yeah, so my name's Tammy Miller. I work for the YMCA of Florida's First Coast, but the YMCA of Florida's First Coast was a service delivery partner Y, which that system is now phasing out. So what is going to take the place of those are regional service hubs, service delivery partners, and then also a little bit of peer communities. So when you look at the flow of information with a regional service hub, what they will do is that those are the associations or the alliances that are going to coordinate the service delivery in their region. They're going to align all of the peer communities in that region, and then they're going to be supporting the training events and services. That said, the next part of that is the service delivery partners. So there, a few months ago, service delivery partners, and these are experts across the movement. Probably a lot of you are sitting here in this room and you're an expert. So hopefully you apply to be a service delivery partner. But basically what the service delivery partners will do is that they are individuals, experts in one or more areas, and they will provide direct project support to Ys, curate best practices, create resources, activate innovation, and connect with peer community leaders. So if you have a question, say you need a project, say you want to have a marketing plan completed or an after school assessment or an aquatic assessment, you could reach out to one of these service delivery partners and through the regional hub, and they could assign that and you could get some assistance. So it's always better to go together, stronger together, versus working alone. You have lots of support out there with this model. Or even if you just had like a light question, you might reach out to your peer community and just ask a question. Hey, does anybody have some gym rule signs that I might be able to look at? Or does anybody have a job description for aquatic staff that I might be able to have? So the way the system works is it really is a great way to pull all of this together with YPN peer communities, service delivery partners who are expert in their fields, and then the regional service hub kind of being the whole, the station that drives all of it. So, and then this is all aligned with the YUSA. So that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tammy. We are going to shift to Lynn to talk about alliance partners.
Yeah, thank you, Tammy and Lisa and Jamie and Scott for kind of giving us an overview on a paradigm shift that YUSA made about 3 years ago. And so what they did is they wanted to decentralize the communication and really put the power back to the local Ys and the sharing and the networking back to the local Ys. And that's what those partners and the YPN and the link and the training and the leadership, and then also the service delivery partners and service partner Ys have represented. What the alliance's role in all of this is, when they decided to decentralize, they decided to invest more in the state alliances for the support to all those networks to be closer to home. So in the entire nation, I want you all to look at your chat, get your chat box ready, and I want you to, out of all 50 states, on how many alliances you think alliance partners service the nation now. So put your guesses in to the chat box, and Scott is going to monitor it to see who gets the right number.
All right, so I just dropped a question in the chat to kind of light up. So this is a time to kind of get involved with it. How many alliances are there in the nation? See who gets it first.
And not every state has an alliance. Let me put it that way. Give you a
All right,
hint.
we got a guess of 20. Let's see, keep going.
I'll give you hints verbally. Or
Oh, someone said 37. Oh. Got 20, 37. Got to go a little bit lower. Delonic said 50. James is 20. Aaron is 37. Got 48, 75, 18.
Wow.
Someone said 35. Someone said 50, 42.
35 is pretty
33.
close. Who got 33?
Oh, it's Emily from St. Petersburg.
Go, Emily. Everybody give her a round of applause. Well done. So when you go to the next slide, you'll see that there's a map of where they're all at. So there are some states that have gone together to where there's 3 or 4 states in like the Southwest. If you look at Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and then for a little bit of spice, they added El Paso in there. So each one of these alliances supports what the needs of their Ys are in the community. So now one more guessing game. Guess how many Ys there are in the state of Florida right now, chartered Ys, let me put it that way. So go ahead and throw that in the chat box if you want to guess associations. We'll put it this way, I'll be very specific. How many associations are in the state of Florida?
All right, we got a guess of 33. We have a thumbs up. What other guesses do we have? How many Ys are in the state of Florida? Corporate YMCAs. If you're a fast Googler, you could probably figure it out from our website, just saying. Got 7, 17, close.
That's
18. Oh, we do have an 18, but it's Lily, so I appreciate her. She likes competition.
Thank you, Lily, for competing. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that there's 18 what's called corporate YMCAs in the state of Florida. And what they represent is, where we've kind of got them designed into 5 different regions, which some of them work closer than others. So I'll give you an example. So if you look at region 3, the Tampa Bay area, those Ys do a lot of things together. Lisa's shaking her head, yes. And Emily, I know you're from St. Pete's and you work and do a lot with the other 2 there. So the idea is that the Florida State Alliance, we support all the networks, but then we also do some direct delivery of things. So we do direct delivery of strategic planning, board governance, shared services, collaboration conversation, and then we also have 3 statewide programs that we run. So we run youth and government through working with the Ys and individual school districts. And then we also have another within youth and government, we have the USF Civics Fellows program, where students can work year round on a curriculum and they actually get college credit for that. And then we also have Y Reads programs that help children that are below the 3rd grade reading level to reach their reading level, which is a one-on-one mentoring program that's done by volunteers and done by site coordinators. So we have 16 different regular Y Reads sites throughout the state, and then we have an additional 3 pilot programs that we're experimenting with, another way to give those kids the opportunity to get up to reading level. So that's kind of the Alliance in a nutshell. And then we also do a variety of different things. Like right now, Lily and Scott have been great on support for this event. So we kind of just fill the gaps and help wherever we're needed at as a way to configure that. So if you want information, you can either go to any of the websites that Scott mentioned, which is the YPN.org, Florida YMCAs.org, and we can get you to what you need. But what I will encourage everyone to do, part of the new system is only successful as involved as you get. So when we say we have peer network groups, you're not by yourself out there. Please reach out, because throughout the pandemic, not only did we support ourselves in Florida and each other through the pandemic that we're going through, but we also we supported the nation. An example is the opening material and assets for graphics on reopening all came from Tampa and the marketing group. The closing and how to close and open all came as a collective from the YPN group. So I encourage you all to reach out. Again, you're only successful, and the system is only as successful as how engaged you get. So please don't be a stranger and give us a call. That's my advertisement for the day.
I love it. I appreciate it. So we're going to move into the question portion. So I've been getting questions. So I got a couple questions texted to me as throughout this. So we have a bunch of questions to get through and a little bit of time. So the first question, I kind of want to open it up to everyone, right? So everyone's going to have a short opportunity to touch on this, but the first one is how do you see the services and the different network partners interacting together? So let's start off with Jamie.
Well, we've seen that, right, already during this pandemic. Our peer community groups and YPN, with the support of the Alliance, we've been able to create, our statewide marketing campaign that's coming up in January. Like, we've gotten together as one Y, one voice, to send that message across the state of Florida.
I would tag on to that as well. I think that there's just been so many great examples, but it's also good because the peer communities have one lens, the Alliance has one lens, YPN has one lens, and sometimes when we get in a room and share, we identify that there's other initiatives that we can move forward. So I know that through the pandemic, the HR risk peer community worked closely. We were meeting on a weekly basis, really trying to support each other. Then we're able to put some COVID training together that some of the associations was able to leverage, because it's hard to put stuff together when you just don't have resources at the time. So I think that's one good example.
Yeah, definitely. Tammy, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I would just, I would reinforce definitely what Jamie and Lisa said. I think that we are lucky in Florida because we have already started our building strong peer communities over the last couple of years. And that allows us to work well and to know each other and to all work for the YMCA movement, all in the same direction. And it makes us all better in our delivery of how we do things. Yeah, I mean, just this conference is an example where you've got people from the Alliance, YPN, service delivery. We're all working together, and we just need everybody to, this is your network. So jump in, because we didn't know everybody, all five of us, 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, we've been working on this for a little bit, but we were just like a lot of you out there that, just get involved. It's just such a great way to make friends, learn new things every day, work together.
Thank you. Lynn, anything else to add?
Yeah, I think I echo all the hard work these ladies and gentlemen have done. And then I'll say that I think what the future holds is whatever we can imagine is what I will share with you. That we're only limited by our own thoughts. And so that seems very surreal, but I think as we pull together as a group, that number one, we're only as strong as our weakest link, or we're as strong as our smartest person. So I'll say that I think the sky's the limit, and I think we've got a huge head start on everything just because of all the hard work that's been done to date. So I'm excited and looking forward to the future, and I think it's the sky's the limit.
Awesome. So I want to go into the next question because I think it's really pertinent. What does all of this information, all of these networks mean kind of for the future of the Y work, right? Like Lynn, you just kind of did a really great job to say it's important, but why is it important? Why is this work that we're doing in each of these networks important? Let's start with Lisa there.
I had muted, so I guess. So I really feel like the peer communities, just like Lynn said, there's so much talent that we have, not only in our peer community chairs, but also the people that are regularly attending the peer communities. And so I think when you get a collective group together, there's some really cool projects that end up coming out. I know in aquatics around drowning prevention, we've done some Presidium Guardian audits, things like that kind of make us stronger. So then the next thing is, how do we innovate? And I know that's a big thing that we've been talking about, is it's kind of innovation, but also how do we stay relevant? So I'll stop there because I know some others probably want to talk about that, but that's where I really see the value.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's go to Tammy on next.
I don't know if I have anything to add. I kind of echo Lisa, and yeah, it's just such a great opportunity to kind of like Florida Chapter 27 being the lead in the, we're innovating right now, and we're pushing some things through. So I'm just really excited to be a part of this movement.
Yeah, likewise. Jamie,
I think they both said it perfectly, innovation and, rebuilding and reinventing, and I can't say much more. I mean, they pretty much said everything, that I was thinking.
Got it. Thanks. Lynn, anything else to add?
I have a little bit of different trend on this one. And I think, and it's not to seem like a doom and gloom, but it's been a hard 9 months for everybody. And how we pull together as a network, as relying on each other, and what we do, and this is going to sound dramatic, but in the next 3 to 6 months is going to be one of those points in history for the YMCA where we change the trajectory of the Y movement and what we mean to the community. I mean, we're 175 years old, and there's been moments in our time, like when after school care became a necessity, when both parents went back to work. So we're at that crucial stage right now where how our invention and innovative we become, and how we listen to each other and learn from each other, is going to be paramount on the future of what the Y looks like in the next 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, I really like the way that you just framed that, right? And we saw some of that success during the pandemic, where it felt like the carpet was pulled from under everyone, and the first thing we could do is get on a call with each other and just talk about it. What does it mean for my area? What does it mean for leadership development or for communication and things like that? So this next question is for Lisa, and then we'll open it up to see if anyone else has anything. Is how do I figure out what trainings I need, or where I should go with leadership development?
Yeah, really good question. So I think that goes into LCDC is where some of that is right now. Will that be in the future? I think some of it, but we're also looking at what else can we do in the state of Florida to give people other different opportunities. But going into LCDC is a really great place. And then you're going to want to go into catalog and scheduling, and then be able to go and see what's available. I will say that it's really interesting because we offered a couple of in-person sessions, and we had people from California and Boston and Indiana that registered. And so I reached out to them and went, you know, this is an in-person session, right? And they were like, oh no, you know, so there's lots of virtual opportunities that are going out there. Still a commitment of your time, but obviously at that point, you know, not travel and that type of thing as well. So there is stuff that's out there, and more will be coming, definitely.
Awesome, I appreciate that. Anyone want to add anything? Just if not, give me a thumbs up. All right, so the next one is actually YPN specific. So Jamie, this one is coming towards you. It's how do I get involved with YPN? You talked a lot about peer communities and ERGs and board opportunities. How might someone get involved in that?
So are they asking how to connect with someone? Is that kind of the question of where they're going with that, where to look?
Yeah, I think so.
So I shared kind of the ways of, you know, getting involved and where you can go to that. But I mean, simply, you know, me, Tammy, Lisa, anyone, you can reach out to any YPN board member. Your HR directors can steer you in the right direction of who to get in contact with. Selecting your interest on your link profile to get involved in a peer community is a great way to start to, you know, get involved in those. And then from there, you know, if it's something where you're that expert and you want to become a peer community leader, we're always having some turnover, but there's so many ways to get involved. Myself, our Facebook page, through Link, through your HR director. We're all here to help, and we encourage you all to become a part of this amazing group because, I mean, over the last year, like everyone has said, and I'll echo, I personally have reached out to my network multiple times because I had no idea what it was going to look like, what I needed to do. I didn't have the resources. So I encourage you all, you know, and there's a chat on here too, and a meetup room. If you'd like to meet and talk a little bit more about it, reach out to all of us, but get involved. And I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, this is the perfect example, right? Is this conference. And although it's virtual, although it's not as easy as, you know, jumping over and saying, hey, can I connect with you outside of this? There is the feature on meeting and chatting and setting up some of that time. And don't be afraid to ask that. You know, this is not just the conference of receiving information, and it's not just a conference that we went on a Zoom platform and said, we're just going to give people information. It's really interactive. It's really designed to give you the opportunity to say, hey, that person has a really cool job or lots of interest. Like, let me connect with them and figure out, like, how did they get that job, or what are they involved in, and how can I do that? So thank you for that.
And Scott, I'd like to, one more thing, and go to the networking events. I know that it might sound, you know, silly that it's all virtual and, you know, you're tired of Zoom calls. I understand that. Go to the networking events. They're a lot of fun. You can talk one-on-one. You can, you know, meet people there. If you don't want to do it in a, you know, just a chat one-on-one or a room with just one person, there's a whole group of people. Everyone, you know, is there having fun. So it's a great way to start to kind of, you know, get you out of, you know, your comfort zone. So go get on those tonight. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to do one more question for kind of the group, and then we're going to go to kind of a wrap-up question since we have a little bit of time left. So this one, it kind of speaks to me a lot. As I was getting involved, it was something I noticed very early on in my career, and it was the Y has a lot of different acronyms for things, and a lot of different like hush hush, like secret language, right? or like some of the terminology that like only the Y uses, and we leave the Y and we are like, oh, haven't you heard about the NATO? And like they're like, what? And so how might someone figure out like what do all these this terminology mean and things like that? So I'm going to steal the first part of this, and then I'll turn it over and open it up. And I'm going to always say link. Link is a really great resource to plug some of those things into the search bar, let it sit, and then hit search, and it's going to start to explain like, what is this? How do you get involved in it? It's a really easy, robust system to just kind of sit with when you have a little bit of time and just start to figure things out and what is out there and things like that. But I also want to hear from some of the other panelists. So how would someone figure that out?
I can go first. I think YPN, for one thing, is YMCA Professional Network. I don't think we said that as a joke, but I will say every company, every organization has its own language. And when you don't know something, don't be afraid to say, hold on, I don't know that acronym, because I've done that to these folks that are on the panel, I'm sure, many times. Don't be afraid to ask what something stands for and what it is.
Yeah, I can give some perspective. So I've been with the YMCA about 4 years. I came from for profit, and you're right. Every single company has their own acronym, but like NATO and some of these, I was like, what is that? And so I really encourage new people as they come in, like, just write it down. Just write it down. And then, hopefully when you come in, maybe as part of some of the onboarding, I know in our association, we actually do have an acronym list, which probably needs to be updated on an every other day basis. But hopefully you're also assigned with somebody in your team that you can go and just ask questions about, because there is, like you said, that there's this special sauce that we have to navigate and understand as part of the culture. So that's my suggestion.
Lisa, can I get that acronym list, please? Do you see how it works, you all? I don't know half of them. So just ask. That's what the group is for, right? So Lisa, send that over to me. That would be great. But Google and link. And don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, and that would be a great list to share with the peer community.
Yeah. So like as an example, like we were watching this play out of like, how do some of these networks both talk to each other, right? Like a simple conversation that we're having right here, but then how does it evolve, right? So now we'll send it out to some of the state alliances, and we'll start to really communicate that as we identify some of those needs. So we have 2 minutes left. So what I want to do is give everyone about 30 seconds to say 2021, kind of everyone looks to a new year to like get started and kind of reset. What are you looking most forward to in the Y Network for 2021? So take a second to think about that. But what is that one thing you're looking so forward to in 2021? Anyone want to start? No. Go for it, Lisa.
I know. I don't know. What just kind of spoke to me was what Lynn was talking about earlier. I mean, this is a critical time in all of our businesses and all of our associations. And what I'm looking forward to is continued community, continued conversations, sharing best practices. I mean, we are not in it alone. And I felt that way this year. And so I'm hopeful that that continues. I know it will. So that's what I'm really, really looking forward to. And us kind of just figuring this out.
Awesome. Jamie, go for it.
I have to agree with Lisa, and Tammy will always kind of laugh at me on the calls. Go big, bigger, better, whatever we can do, but just really focusing on our group that we currently have with, and the strong partners that we have with the Alliance and YPN and all of our leaders in the Y and our CEOs and the support we have to continue to grow together as one and have those resources available for Ys or just another director or a part-time staff that may not know which way to go. But I see us coming together, being stronger than we are now, but we're pretty strong. So I'm looking forward to what we can do as a group collectively that we already haven't accomplished this year, because we have accomplished a lot together.
Awesome. Tammy and Lynn, rapid fire.
Okay, I think I'm looking for well, greater impact and greater ensuring that members feel safe when they come to the Y. And that's what we're about. We provide the safe space where we take care of people. I mean, that's the social responsibility part of it. And I'm looking forward to a vaccine and everyone coming back and our next iteration of what we're going to be together.
Great.
Nice. 2 words, evolution and revolution. So the evolution of our networks and our system, and then revolution to make an impact in our communities.
Awesome. I love it. So that wraps up our talk. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that attended. Thanks to our awesome moderators for really looking at this as a topic. We have a bunch of breakouts that are starting in the next 10 minutes. So grab some water, grab a bathroom break, and we'll see you on those calls. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye,
Scott.
thank you.
Thanks, y'all.